The date was May 31st, 1947. Boys were home from the war. Songs like Sentimental Journey and Somewhere Over the Rainbow were popular. Casablanca by Friend Clicker, and of course Singing in the Corn with Judy Canova were popular movies of the time. Baseball fans cheered Jackie Robinson as he broke the color barrier into America's favorite sport. Darla Hood, born in Leedey, Oklahoma, became famous for her role as Darla in Little Rascals, and Call for Philip Morris could be heard on the airwaves as Saturday night boxing began. All seemed well across America. All seemed well in Leedey, Oklahoma. It was a typical Saturday night in small-town, rural USA. Some youngsters could be seen reading and swapping their favorite comic books purchased for a nickel at the Palace Drug. Others went for a soda at the drugstore and waited for the movie to start at the Rex Theater. 6:30 p.m. arrived. The theater doors opened. Dimes and quarters were handed over to Mae White for admission. Young lovers raced for the back seat. Parents were still visiting. Many were eating one of George Smith's delicious chili burgers. Strange clouds and a balmy atmosphere caused most people to keep an eye on the clouds. Everyone remembered the tornado that had hit Woodward a month and a half before. Everyone knew it was tornado season. But could a tornado hit again in the area? Probably not. Never heard of such a thing. Of course it couldn't happen. But what are those dark clouds on the horizon to the southwest? Would it be? Could it be? It just might be. Oh, gee, get Jack Sapp to blow the siren. Leota Blackheader, get on that switchboard and give a general ring to let the country people know. Get those kids out of the show. Get in a cellar, any cellar. Run for your lives. No, you don't have time to get them first to the new radio. Get to the cellar. 20 minutes later, a great roll of thunder hit Leedey, Oklahoma, bringing devastation, death, ruin, and destruction. Lives, homes, businesses, and dreams were demolished. Unlike the Woodward tornado, where there were at least piles of debris remaining, the R5 tornado that hit Leedey that night unmercifully swept everything away, taking even the grass from the ground. People came out of their places and shelters to a horrible, horrible scene. My home is gone. Oh, my God. Nothing remains. No place to call home, and to some, not even an idea of where their home had stood. As darkness fell, a great gloom fell over the people. Frightened, filled with shock, sadness, and despair, many simply stood with their heads bowed, clutching friends and family. One elderly lady was found walking in a daze, aimlessly wandering about, for she had no idea where she was or where her home had been. The tornado funnel took 5 minutes to slowly chew its way through the north half of the town, most of which was truly obliterated. 6 lives were lost, 15 people were injured, 147 homes and 20 businesses were destroyed. A total dollar loss in the amount of $1 million. What a horrible, horrible catastrophe. What a freak occurrence of nature. May 31st, 1947, in Leedey, Oklahoma, population 578. Yes, a great wind from the sky, a great roll of thunder can occur twice in 1 month within the same area. Just ask the people of Leedey, Oklahoma, who survived the tornado of May 31st, 1947. New cars and pickups that had been manufactured for the first time since the war were in many people's garages, driveways, or were parked along the main street of this small town. No longer were they new. No longer were they the objects of pride for their owners. No longer were they even recognizable. Sorry, be no joyriding tonight. We're sorry, Mr. Hall. We know that you only bought the tag for that brand new pickup yesterday. Within hours, the state had received the news. What? Not another tornado? It just cannot be. But it was. Another great roll of thunder has struck its mighty blow. This time, it's in Leedey, Oklahoma, the friendly little town in western Oklahoma. You know the one. It's where they have this cement pillar stop sign out in the middle of the main road, where you can get the best chili burgers and the best cinnamon rolls from that little bakery on the corner. You know the place. It's where the broom corn and wheat grow tall and the cattle ranches run for miles. We hear there's hardly anything left, hardly anything at all. Even their water tower has been twisted a complete turn and is now lying in ruins on the ground. Within hours, the Red Cross was on the scene. Doctors and nurses came from neighboring towns. People with hammers, boards, and saws came from far and wide. Food was served, and people were sheltered and given beds where they could rest in makeshift buildings and in tents. Friends helped friends sift through the sparse remains, hoping to find something from a life and a time gone by. Something, please, let's just find something. We need something we can use to help us start over again. Few people arrive, finding many, many things to report. What news we'll be able to produce. Our circulation numbers will soar. Everyone will want to read about this. Wait. Take another look. There's more at stake here than just great, great news items. These are nice, friendly, kind, hard-working people who have had their lives drastically changed in a matter of minutes. They've lost all they have, but they're helping each other. They're sharing what they have. No one is going hungry or without shelter. Everywhere you look, there's somebody ready to lend a helping hand or a shoulder to cry on. The Leedey tornado of 1947 nearly erased the small town from the face of the map, but ironically added it to the hearts and minds of the many who came to the rescue. Funeral services for the 6 people who were killed were held during the week following in the Methodist Church, one of the churches left standing. Fatalities listed were D.B. Abbott, a baker, Harry Kitchens, a carpenter, A.A. Butler, Justice of the Peace, Ada Malloy, a housewife, J.A. Albritton, retired farmer and former Baptist minister, and Mrs. J.A. Albritton. Injured were Helen Craig, age 10, Mr. and Mrs. A.C. Quattlebaum, E.L. Walton, David Abbott, Jr., age 12, Margaret Abbott, age 10, Alice Abbott, age 14, and Mrs. Molly Abbott, their grandmother. Also, W.H. Ferguson, Nell Wagoner, Mrs. Tom McKay, Earl McGann, Waldy Roden, Victor Wood, and Robert R. McCown. Loved ones were mourned, depressing hours were faced, and let's just give up feelings were felt. Hundreds stood and watched as bulldozers worked, sweeping away not only the tornado debris, but the shattered and broken dreams of another time. There's just no way this town will ever be the same. There's just no way this small town can ever recover. We might just as well move on out of here. But that is not what they did, not the people of Leedey. Will someone please get out the 1997 Oklahoma map? Look under the L's. Is there a Leedey, Oklahoma listed? No? Well, you're not looking in the right place, or you're spelling it all wrong. No, it's not Leedey. It's Leedey, L-E-E-D-E-Y. You found it? Of course you did. It's right where it's always been. Right there, in the heart of western Oklahoma. Right there among those oil and gas wells. Right there among those green wheat fields and cattle ranches. Yes, there most certainly is. Leedey, Oklahoma, on May 31st, 1997. And it seems to be more bustling and alive than ever before. There are a lot of new businesses, new sidewalks, a beautiful school, park, nursing center, and more young people bringing their families back home to be raised. Who would believe that this could possibly happen? But it did. Aren't I glad that I am not one of those who said Leedey, Oklahoma will never make it? They'll just never survive the tornado of May 31st, 1947. The residents of Leedey, Oklahoma are indeed proud to be alive and well 50 years after the great tornado of May 31st, 1947. Leedey did rebuild, Leedey did recover, and it'll take more than a tornado to keep Leedey down. You can bet on that.
And I'm principal here at Leedey School, and we have an enrollment now of 206 kids from K through 12, and there's been a lot of changes at the Leedey School since the tornado in 1947. We'd invite the public to come up at any time and take a look through our school and see some of the changes and improvements that we've made since then. You're welcome at any time.
Hi, I'm Roy Baker, Superintendent of Schools of Leedey, and I'm real proud of the accomplishments of our students. We consistently score in the top 10% in the state on academic scores, and as you can see, Leedey is alive and well in 97, and we get a lot of support from our parents and our community members, and we'd just like to welcome you back. Thank you.
Mr. Abbott out of the basement while we laid him in the back of the pickup, and Dr. Seeley was examining when I left, and he was talking to Mr. Seeley, Dr. Seeley, and a few minutes later then I heard that he had passed away. And I was down helping get Mrs. Abbott out, and she was sitting in a chair yet, no building on top of her, over her. She was sitting there mumbling, talking about something, and we got the little girl, she was coming up with some material, and we got her out, and she just jumped out of there like a chicken, and fuzzy the feathers and away she was.
And this is my family, Marjorie and Lakita Nichols. And we were just sitting here talking about the tornado today, and we talked about kind of where we were and what we were doing whenever it happened. And I was 4 and Lakita was 1.
I really remember a lot about it. I was 1.
But through this tape, she'll probably tell you that she remembers more than I do. But you know how that is. We were in business here in Leedey. Mother and my father, Nick Nichols, had a cleaning shop. Whenever the tornado came that evening, we were in Coleman's restaurant eating supper, and we were sitting there, and Jack Sapp came running in and said, everybody take cover that there's a tornado coming. So we all jumped up, and everybody took off and just left everything as it was. And we went to Pelham and Effie Lee's house. We didn't have a cellar, and they did, so we went up there to the cellar. And one of the things I remember that really sticks out in my mind is that we were standing in the door of the cellar and looking to the west, and just a small crack that we could see through. And Pelham said, "What was that?" And my father said, "Well, that was the depot, Pelham." And you could just see this object kind of going up in the air and just disintegrating millions of pieces. And then after the tornado was over with, well, we all crawled out of the hole and headed downtown to see what was wrong. We went by our house first, and that's where we are right now. It's been remodeled, but it was moved about 6-8 inches off the foundation, and the windows were all blown out, and some of the shingles were blown off. But we went on down, and where our cleaning shop was, it was destroyed. And then we walked across the street where we were eating at the time that this all started, and Dad looked in the window and he said, "Lee, there, our food's still on the table." And where we were sitting and eating, the food was still on the table. I couldn't see, but he lifted me up so I could see through the window. Our food was still sitting there on the table right where we left it.
I'm sure that's right, because I've heard that story a million times.
It's not here. My family's been in business here since 1946, and we've been in the same location since then. And we appreciate all the business that our customers have given us over the years, and we are going to continue to give the service as long as we can. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marshall Wilson, and I want to tell you the way the cyclone in Leedey was to me. I worked at the Wilson Hardware, and it was Saturday evening, just before showtime, and the siren came on. I ran down the street to see where it was. People were standing at the corners of Broadway and Main looking west, and the siren stayed on, so we knew it was a warning. So I ran back up the street, and we closed up the hardware and went home. And people were running every which way, getting their families and seeking shelter. Those three fellows stayed on top watching the storm move in to us. And when they hit the electrical supply depot down there and blowed up, we went into the storm cave like rabbits running from spots. And the ground began to vibrate. And there was three of us on this rope holding the door down, and every little bit it would suck open. Finally, Coley said, "No, you've got a fence post through your barn. I don't know about your house." A few more minutes, it seemed like eternity, but just a few minutes, and the trembling stopped, and we thought we might be in the eye of the storm. But about that time, we heard people calling for each other, so out we went. Looking north and west from our place, it looked like our beautiful town had been wiped off. We went to the hardware, and both front and back was blowed out. We passed out flashlights, wrecking bars, and shovels, whatever they needed, and told them to help themselves if anything they needed to get it. My crew worked on Main Street north from Broadway, and we found Mr. and Mr. Albritton. And by that time, most everybody had their families together and knew where he was. Alfred Bailey and I went to Elk City to call relatives in the other states to let them know that we made it and those that did not. A beautiful Saturday evening, May 31st, 1947, kids standing in line for the show and having a good time. And in a few short minutes, it turned to tears, heartbreak, and destruction. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for letting me share these memories with you. In this generation, and God's loving care of people of Leedey has turned us into another beautiful town and must be thanked. Let's all say thank you. Well done, Chamber of Commerce.
Bad.
And where was your home? Who were your parents?
My parents were Clarence so quick.
Real quick.
The first, I'd heard the siren blowing, but I had no idea what it was. I thought it just was a fire. It was close to 7:30 in the evening. My dad came in and hollered at me while I was in the tub and said, "Boy, you better get out of that tub right quick. There's a tornado coming." And it didn't take long.
Okay. So how old were you?
I was 16 years old.